morning. I am going to give it like one more minute or so to see if anybody else jumps on. I just put another tag on Facebook, so hopefully we get some other people.
Sounds good.
It's a very nice day out, so everybody must be busy.
Yeah.
I'm
Sophie's going to be a baked potato all day today.
Oh, is she gonna sit outside all day?
Yeah.
She smell like outside.
I
Is that
just call it
okay?
baked potato because she goes and lays on the like red bricks that I have out here and just bakes all day.
I would die. I would be like, no. Let me make this bigger. Try to keep it to where I can see. Get rid of this. Nope. Want you to get smaller, not bigger. Go away. Oh, goodness. Oh, wrong. Why is this? Yeah, sometimes. Wrong button. There we go. All right. Can you see the screen okay? All right. I gotta get, there we go. I had to make the box disappear. All right, maybe one more minute. Let's start at 10:02. All right, cool. I need to make sure I hit record. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Everybody else can just kind of jump in when they get here. So today we are going to go over ChatGPT, and maybe some other things in like Canva, because Canva has some cool AI stuff too. If you pay for the subscription, which we like free, but the subscription isn't horrible, it might be worth it. So that's one I will kind of sort of minorly advertise. But so obviously this is my favorite class of the year is the ChatGPT because I like to play in ChatGPT. I use it for a lot of things, but we can also use it for a lot of things in real estate, obviously. I'm sure almost everybody is using them or has tried to use ChatGPT for listing descriptions since we love those so much. But there are also other things that you can use it for, but we're going to start with what you can't use it for, because I don't think I went over that last year. And the more we continue to try to use it, the more we are discovering certain things that it will not let us do for privacy reasons, So, anyway, if you have not used ChatGPT, it's OpenAI. This is the link right here. I'm going to copy. I think all of us on here know, but I'm going to copy and put it in the chat real quick, just so it is there for future. But anyway, that is the link. I log in through, you want to log in ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, just like any other thing out there right now, has different tiers. There is an upgraded tier where you can pay. I use ChatGPT for free. I don't need to talk to my phone on the app and have a conversation with ChatGPT. I just need to type up some stuff and move on with my day. So, Chris actually does talk to ChatGPT all the time, but he has the upgraded one. You can upgrade it. You can pay for it if you need it for other things. There are some limitations, obviously, with the free version, that when you pay for, we'll go through that. We'll get there. But once you log in, you get this screen here, but I pulled up this window here for their usage policies. The technical usage policies, are kind of, they're not vague, but they are at the same time, if that makes sense. It basically just says you can't harm anyone. You can't do anything illegal. You can't threaten people, bully people, you know, all of the dangerous things, right? But in these rules, we're finding that there are certain things that you would think would be everyday, no big deal. And they're coming back and saying, hey, you can't do that. Christy, you had a great example recently of a limitation that it put on you. Where do you want to explain that better than me?
So I started thinking about how I could use GPT in other ways than kind of the listing remarks like you said. So I thought, well, I wonder if it could help me farm a neighborhood. So I had made some postcards and I thought, to speed things up, what if I have it create a spreadsheet with everybody's addresses in XYZ neighborhood that I want to farm. And so I typed in all the parameters and then it said, no, sorry, you can't do that. And so it just said it cited for privacy, which is your number one on the screen.
So
Yep.
I have a question.
Yep.
Did you try to ask it to farm the addresses for you, or did you already have the addresses?
So I said such and such area, can you just compile? I wanted it to get the addresses instead of having
Okay.
to do a direct mail or go through Realist and hand type everything in. I wanted it to put it in a spreadsheet so that I could mail merge. That was my goal.
Got it. All right. All right.
Yeah, and so I didn't
So-
say the property owners, or I didn't want names or anything. I only asked for addresses, but it wouldn't do it.
Got it. All right. Just curious.
Basically, it's saying that you could be planning something by getting these addresses together, right? Invading someone's privacy, whatever. But we can do that through RPR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
and I will throw this out there because I wanted it to be in a spreadsheet for me so I could just, but I will throw this out there. I then pushed back because I'm me. And I said, well, can you pull the information from public records? And it was still like, nope, sorry.
Yeah. And it goes back and so I remember I asked you about this. I thought you had done the phone number. Somebody else tried to do phone numbers and it was the same thing. You couldn't do it. It wouldn't do it. So there are certain things that it will pull from the World Wide Web, all the interwebs out there. And then there are some restrictions that they have put on. And as this continues to evolve, there's probably going to be more and more restrictions, honestly, because people are trying all the things with AI right now, and they're finding out quickly, all the things people are trying. So they're going to keep putting some limitations on it. But the privacy one is a big one. And that was a great idea to try. That was something very useful we could do. And as quick as Chat GPT works, like it comes back to you with the information in seconds, that would be a very efficient way to get a neighborhood worth of addresses. But unfortunately they say, no, we're not going to let you do that. So you can't get names, can't get addresses, can't get phone numbers. There's a lot of public record stuff that you cannot get due to privacy rules. But that is the number one. And that's probably the privacy thing is probably what we would run into as far as issues with Chat GPT or things that it won't allow just in our industry in general. Because, obviously sales and most of it is that we're, I would hope nobody gets dinged for illegal activity or bullying or, doing anything of that nature. But I think the privacy one is going to be our biggest one. But as we continue to try new things and see what it will be able to help us with and become more efficient with, we can always continue to talk and chat and just figure out what's working and what is not going to work. There are limitations in general to what the free version does. Forgot what tab that was on. But I know the big thing that went out recently, everybody was creating the Barbies. the AI images and creating themselves into Barbie dolls or action figures. And playing around with that, we found out naturally doing the trend, we found out that, you know, if you have the free version of Chat GPT, you can only do so many AI photos within so many hours. I believe it's 2 or 3. It may also depend on, well, I know it depends on the size of the image, and how in-depth it basically counts it off of credits, if that makes sense. And you can only use so many credits within so many hours. And those, when you're doing AI photo, that counts as a big chunk of credits. So that's where I think I'm going to talk about the Canva thing later, because you can do that in Canva, just depending on what version of Canva you are on. But that one was the Canva one is actually pretty cool too. But anyway, so I am logged in. Once you create your account and everything, it'll save all your stuff. Like, obviously I use this mostly, well, I divvy the names. I do have a place where I put in some names and then divvy them out amongst people. But this was a good one. Can we talk about the one where we did the electrical outlet upgrades?
Are you talking to me?
Well, I'm just gonna do it. I think it was one of y'all's. I think it was one of y'all's, but it was trying to figure out how to say something a certain way with a certain tone on a PICRA.
Oh, that was actually me.
Yeah. And it was, how can I say this to where it gets done? It looks like it's very important to my client. It may not sound that important to other people. I want to make sure this comes across correctly on the PICRA, that this is a very important item for my client, right? So we just kind of took, what I did was I took the initial wording from the PICRA and was like, make this better, make this sound more concerning. And then copied and pasted what I guess you were trying to say, sort of. And then it came back with a much more clear and concerning way to just not really concerning, but, you know, to make it where the other agent knows that this is important to this client. And if you can't find the words to say and express what you want to really say, you can do that. So I've seen where people are using this to generate, you know, emails. Say you have an email and you might be a hot-headed person and you're trying to put something in more professional, sensical words. People are actually pre-typing their emails or their letter or whatever it is that they want to say into Chat GPT and say, help me make this sound less angry or more professional, or make this sound more stern. Maybe you're a very nice person, you just can't put your foot down, you know, make this sound more aggressive or whatever to get your point across. And Chat GPT can do that. And I always think Chat GPT. I always tell it thank you when it's done. That's just my silly little thing. But anyway, so I would like to play a little. Got a few things that we can play with. I have a rental that just went live this morning. Now we've already done the listing description, but we can still play. And then do you guys have any that you want to play with?
I have Little Bay that we can play with. That hasn't gone live yet.
Okay. Well, let's start with Little Bay. Tell me about Little Bay, how many bedrooms, all that great stuff.
Sorry, I'm doing two things at once. It's 3-bed, 1 bath. I think it's about 1,000 square feet.
You said 1 bath?
1 bath. It's fully updated. She's real cute. It's got a detached 2-car garage. It's it's in Willoughby.
Feet, remodel, detached, 2-car.
2-car.
Garage and is it Willoughby, just the Willoughby?
Spit.
area? Willoughby Spit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fully furnished, right, too, if with a satisfactory offer.
That is correct, Christy.
I guess it should, we can say currently used as an air or a short-term rental is what we should say, right?
Yes.
Short-term rental. Can be, or can leave fully furnished. Furnished with acceptable offer. Let's just see what it comes back with that. I'm sure there's so much more. We can tweak it.
We can just keep adding to it.
Yep.
I personally start with words that it cannot say.
Interesting. I just,
Yeah.
I usually don't get words back when I do it this way. That is questionable, usually. I haven't yet, I'll put it that way. But I just kind of tell it what I want, but I want it to give me the fluffy words. Now, everybody, obviously uses this a little bit differently.
I quite like that. I like what it gave you.
That's usually how I do it, and I usually got some pretty good stuff. Sometimes I need to shorten it, or I want to add something a little bit more. I'll show you, I'll pull up this waterfront townhome listing that I just did that I hardly had to tweak that one at all. Like it did great. But it usually comes back with really good. The only thing that my pet peeve is it comes back with the word boast a lot.
Oh yeah, God help you.
And that is almost like a trigger word for me. I hate it so much. I don't ever want to see boast again, but we do every day because that's a favorite real estate. So anyway, it comes back with charming remodeled home in Willoughby Spit, fully furnished option. Don't miss this beautifully remodeled 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home in the sought after Willoughby Spit area of Norfolk with 1,000 square feet, stylish living space. This home features modern updates throughout and a spacious detached 2-car garage just blocks from the beach. It's perfect as a primary resident or investment property, currently operating as a successful short-term rental and can be sold fully furnished with an acceptable offer, move-in ready and full of potential. I think for me personally, maybe repeating that the title, repeating the fully furnished option was kind of a bit much, but that's just me. What do you think?
I mean, ask it to not repeat it. See what happens.
Well, I was seeing if there was anything else you wanted to tweak too.
Well, once it says remodeled and then it says fully furnished, right? Am I reading that wrong?
Well, I think it's because it came back. So this is kind of new where it came back with the title, the bold portion.
Oh, yeah. So I use those bold options in my Facebook marketing. I take that and that is what I put as Facebook, and then everything I only use
I only take the bottom portion.
Yeah.
Usually I just see the bottom portion. It didn't give me a title last time. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't always, I don't really usually have it give me a title, and I think that's what's throwing me off. So let's set that aside. What else can we tweak with this? It is a good one. It's not
Isn't it a bigger lot? Like if you did want to add something, isn't it a fairly large block? Yeah.
It is a fairly large lot. It is a fairly large lot. Because it is technically a double lot.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, it added it there in the middle. So situated on a large lot, this 1,000 square foot home features blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And you could change that if you did want to boast about it being a double lot, you could change double for large and then just to be
Yeah.
technical.
But
I
you,
like it a lot.
I actually, yeah, the first one sounded really great. The lot size, I would definitely keep that in there. Because that is a selling feature of the house. So it does this as well. Would you like a version optimized for Airbnb or vacation rental marketing as well? I used this last time because it was a rental and I was putting on Zillow and it was like, I'll show you in a minute, but it said, you know, would you like to cater this to Zillow? And I said, yes. And it came back great. But you can actually ask it to, let's see. Yes, please optimize. And it tweaks it a little bit more, where it can make it say trigger like keywords that are going to come up in the searches on these websites if you were advertising it as a short-term rental or something. But you can see how it changes the tone a little bit to cater more toward someone that might be wanting, you know, to be by the beach or whatever. Which I don't think Airbnb has like a for sale section, right? You can't advertise sales.
No,
Yeah, it would be kind of cool if you could, and you could just sell it to other short-term rental people, you know?
it
Yeah,
would be cool.
that would be kind of cool. But anyway, I didn't tweak it as much. I'm going to show you the one I just did the other day. So basically we have this rental property that is on it's by Bay Point Marina, on the water, it's on the bay. And they want to keep it as a rental property. So we're doing a long-term rental for it. I asked it to create the description. I gave it all of the details of the home, you know, 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. It's a tri-level waterfront townhome, modern kitchen, top floor primary, ensuite, balcony, all the things. And so it came back with this. And of course it put boasting in there, which, as I said, don't like it. So I asked it to change it. And then it came back stunning 3 bedroom, 2 bath, tri-level waterfront townhome, Joy modern kitchen, you know, took the boasts out of there basically. And I liked it a lot better. It used showcasing, which I really like that. I preferred showcasing. And then it said, would you like it to be tailored for Zillow? I am putting this, it is on Zillow. So I was putting this on Zillow. So because it asked me that question, I was like, sure, let's see what it says. And it came back with something that I liked even better. You know, it just kind of tweaked it a tiny bit to fit more of what Zillow's algorithm might throw it out there a little bit more. You never know. You never know. It adds a little bit of keywords to it. And so I literally just copied, pasted, popped that in the Zillow ad. So really cool for that kind of stuff. Obviously, I think in the past we've used it for, we had a lot of fun creating bios. Anybody need their bio updated?
Not currently.
Yeah. But say, gosh, what else was I just saying this morning that to try to use it for? So telling the story. We're seeing a lot of this, and we talked about it in Stump Broker the other day. When you sell a home, to not just put closed and a photo, but to tell the story of the client, how you got there, what their background was, all of the things. I need a lot of help with that. You know, I'm tend to be a little bit more straight to the point in my writing. I don't do a lot of the fluffy stuff, and I do personally, I'm just not good at it. I need a lot of help with that. And to tell these stories, sometimes you want to add the fluff. So I haven't tried this yet, so I figured we could try it on the call, or in the class. I want ChatGPT to help me create the story of, one of the last closings that we've had. So good story would be, well, we got a couple of them, but like my last closing, it was a renter I'd been working with for a year. I helped them last year find their rental. They came back to me and was like, we're settled. We've been here a year, love the area. We're here to stay. They came from out of state initially. This is where we want to live. Let's buy a house. And so I helped them buy their first house. Super adorable family. So I'm going to try to think about what I want to put in here for ChatGPT to tell that story. Can you help me tell the story? The sale, home sale.
Okay. I figured out how to do it. If you do the property search in RPR, you can do 2,000 properties, download the CSV file, upload it into the free version of ChatGPT and upload it into ChatGPT and ask it to extract it from the file, just the addresses. And you can do 2,000 at a time, and ChatGPT will make you all of the mailing labels.
Yeah, so it just won't find the addresses for you.
It
You
will
still
not
have
find
to
the
do
addresses for
that
you.
side, but
but-
creating a spreadsheet would be great.
RPR
That's
RPR will pull the addresses from you at 2,000 at a time, and then you put the CV or CSV file in there. ChatGPT will pull it from all you have to do is upload the file, and it will extract the information for you out of that file automatically, and you just tell it to do it. It will create the mailing for you. Sorry. I was on a mission.
That's what you've been working on, Miss
That's what I've been. I was like, I wonder if,
Distract.
because
That's good,
I
thank
know
you.
RPR really, really well. That's the one that I know well. So yes, you can create 2,000 mailers at a time and make these two programs talk to each other.
That's pretty convenient if you're not, especially if you're not really, you
And
don't.
both of those
get
programs are free.
Yeah.
Also, you can use RPR to weed out anything that is active on market, just closed, pending, anything else. You can have it do anything that closed within, you can do specific ranges. If you want it to have just, like, if you want it to weed out anything that closed within the last 12 months.
Yeah, I do a class on RPR toward the end of the year, I believe, is when I'm doing it. And I will definitely be adding that to the next one.
So,
Because that's a good combination of the two tools to just do something very quickly. So especially this, in this type of market that we're in right now, to make something a little bit easier might motivate people a little bit more to do more of their own marketing, So, all right. So for this one, thank you for doing that, Chrissy. It's almost like, you're kind of almost like a toddler when they're quiet.
I am. I
Oh,
do
I know
apologize.
you're up to something. You're quiet.
I do apologize. Sorry.
All right. I love you. All right. So I asked ChatGPT help me tell a story about a recent home sale I assisted with. A couple was a renter, helped a year ago, relocate from out of state. They reached out to me, ready to purchase their first home, stay in the area. I asked GPT, coffee is not kicking in this morning, to make those 2 paragraphs and create warm and fuzzy. I want warm and fuzzy vibes. So here is what it kicked back out to me. A little over a year ago, I had the pleasure of helping a wonderful couple relocate to our area from out of state. They were renters at the time, brand new to town, full of excitement for the fresh start. We worked closely to find them a rental that felt like home, and over time they settled in, built connections, and began to dream about putting down more permanent roots. I love this.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
already love it. I already love it. And you need to post it like today.
Yeah. I always love staying in touch with past clients. And when they recently reach out to say that we were ready to buy the first home, my heart absolutely lit up. Guiding them through the home buying journey was incredibly special. Seeing how far they'd come from uncertain newcomers to confident homeowners was truly heartwarming. We found a beautiful place that checked all the boxes, felt just right for this next chapter of their lives. Being part of that moment when they held the keys in their hands and realized they were finally home made me so grateful for what I do. It's these relationships and stories that make real estate so much more than a job. It's a joy. Does that sound familiar? I have seen so many agents posting stories like this.
What happens if you ask it to make it into a Facebook post?
It'll probably had hashtags, I would bet. What I like about that is that it does sound like you. And I think that's one thing that like you have to use ChatGPT. Like one thing that I didn't know about ChatGPT that I learned recently is that it
Oh, see, there you go.
There you go. Yep.
it slowly
Okay.
learns like your tone and stuff. And so like I sat down with ChatGPT and I was like, hey, for the future, just be aware that this is like how I like to talk. I use the Oxford comma. I do this, I do that. And so that way when it does post things in the future, it does actually sound like me.
Yeah, it does learn you because Chris's version is different than mine. If I jump on his, because he has the upgraded one. So there's something I want to jump on and get on his. The tone is definitely more Chris. It's technical, straight to the point, more analytical. So yeah, you are correct. It does learn you, which is cool, right? Not scary at all. But yeah, so we asked, asking this to turn into a Facebook post, and then it comes back with emojis. You see, we've got the emojis now, and we have the hashtags, and it's shorter. It works in the Facebook box, without being too lengthy. So it did condense it a little bit. But it added all
the other one more.
I do like the other one more.
Because I feel like people are starting to look for the stories. I feel like what it gave you is something that I often do normally, but I feel like the story version is what's starting to really draw people in. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
What I do love about this version though is the hashtags, because I have a list of hashtags, but when I'm posting, I just am pulling them off the top of my head, right? I'm horrible about going back to my note with all the hashtags. So having it to where it's kind of helping me with that, just for me, I can move on about my day. Boom, 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 go on. Make it easy. Let's go on about my day. Do read these though. Please make sure when you're creating these things, you are proofing, you are reading it. You're not just, oh, great, copy and paste. Because it is not perfect. While I think ChatGPT does a really good job when you tell it that you're in the industry, and as it knows that these are the type of things that you're creating all the time, the listing descriptions and the job, the bios and the, everything is about real estate. As it learns that part of it, I feel like it does do a very good job. It kind of common sense. We're going to not say things about, it hardly ever comes back to me with things about schools or neighborhood, unless
I've started telling mine the rules and why.
Yep. And I didn't tell it the rules. I just started removing the things. And now I hardly have to remove anything at all.
Yeah, I literally have started telling mine the rules and why the rules. Like, I don't know why I felt the need to explain myself,
That's
but I
actually
did.
cool. I really want you to play with Chris's version where you can talk to, because I think you would have a whole conversation.
Probably. I don't know why. I also tell my Alexa thank you because when our supreme AI overlords come in, I'm gonna sit at its feet like a dog. I'm gonna live through it.
Nicer than me because I yell at she who shall not be named right now.
Nope,
Not
I
nice
I want
things.
to be well cared for by our overlords.
Yeah, yeah.
Google
Um,
actually scolded me one time. I don't have an Alexa and I don't talk to Chat GPT, but Google does not understand me. First of all, the things that it says gives me a complex about my accent. And I don't know why, but I'll be like, hey, look this up. And on Matt's phone, it's fine. But on my phone, it gives me the stupidest stuff and never anything that I'm asking for. And so one time I yelled at it. I was like, I used colorful language and it told me that I needed to like respect it or something. I was like, oh, damn.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I was at one of my friends' houses in Williamsburg and they changed the names. So you have to say, hey, bad word, do this. So they created a nickname for it that was not very good. So we just call it, it's basically the B word. So everywhere you walk in the house, you're like, hey, B, do this.
oh, well,
It was
yeah.
it was comical at the time, but
Yeah, they're
That's
not going to
funny.
survive when the AI overlords take over.
Well, I am nice to ChatGPT. I'm in the group that thinks people as well. But Google
Yeah.
can F all the way off because they're the worst on my phone. But Matt's Google Assistant is fine. So I don't know. It's just my own personal assistant that is the worst.
Yeah, well, I'm over here thanking them. So now,
yeah,
now ours in the house thinks me and Remy are the same person. So
that's weird. Y'all's
Yeah.
voices don't sound alike. They
yeah,
have
well,
different voices. That is strange. Um, so this is very cool. I like this a lot.
well, maybe ask it to make the Facebook post more like that one.
Well, no, I'm
And
just saying
see,
I like the concept of this a lot. Like I
oh,
like for me personally, because I struggle with the warm and fuzzies.
oh yeah, don't we all? I've got the bandwidth of a freaking snail.
Yeah, you're still a good person, but like, yeah, you are more direct and to the point as well. I think we're very similar like that. But I literally will stare. If I'm doing this off the top of my head, I'm staring at the computer going, what do I say? What do I say? Typing and then
Just pretend like you're talking to Christy, you know? None of us can be mean to her, so that's what I have to do.
but I can be direct with her. I
That's
can be
pretty funny.
straight to the point. I don't have to fluff. So
No.
that I do struggle with this a lot. So I like doing this and I'm going to start doing this all the time. This is going to be my new thing. Y'all are going to see paragraphs from now on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Get used to it. And you better heart it. So cool. I like this a lot. Is there anything else that you guys use Chat GPT for often that you would like to share?
Sometimes I use it just plain to respond to just emails in general.
Yeah.
Like, to be perfectly honest, like when it's getting wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
Oh, I have one.
yeah.
I had so out of not in the same like work vein, but could be applicable. So I had a conspiracy theory party, and I picked what conspiracy theory I wanted, and I gave it like, here are the parts of this conspiracy that I want you to cover. And it gave me a whole presentation. Now, how that's applicable in not a conspiracy theory realm, maybe like for first time home buyer, like obviously we have like the home buying process, like we have our presentation, our buyer and listing presentations, but maybe like a first time home buyer presentation for you know, like a workshop or something, it could create the entire slideshow, and then you just copy and paste it into Canva.
Let's see if it can do it. It's kind of basic. Let's see.
Yeah, I think like you have to kind of give it a little bit of like, I want you to cover X, Y, and Z topics. So like the importance of a home, you know, like what you would, you can kind of add a little bit to it, and then it will be maybe not just as vanilla.
Yeah. Vanilla was a good word. I was just curious on what it would do initially, because I haven't really asked it to do first time home buyer stuff or anything like that, because I do feel like the presentations we made a while ago were really, really good. So I used them. They're in my Canva. The one, Christy, you shared it with me. But so that is a good idea if somebody wants to tweak it or adjust it or add their own personal flair. This basically obviously is going to give you the verbiage, the words to use, you know. Let's see, what can we do? Can you describe the benefits of being more thoroughly? I just want to see what it says. I like to see what it does on its own before digging too far in, you know? So that slide, it definitely broke it down a little bit more. Let's see. Every mortgage payment you make increases ownership over time. The home's value appreciates. You can tap into equity later through financing. The fixed rate mortgage. Ownership can be a powerful long-term investment. Tax advantages. Do verify this information before you share it, though. Especially stuff like that.
I feel like also like because every state is different, you know, even North Carolina to Virginia, you kind of have to personalize the specifics of a transaction as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Larry, let's change it and let's say, can you help me create a what do I want to call it? Flyer, I guess. The home buying steps. So initially, again, just being generic with my question, not really specifying too much. It comes back with giving you the basic steps. And then can you make this more descriptive? It's my favorite word for ChatGPT. Okay, so now it adds a little bit more of the fluffy words, right? Once we add it, ask it to tweak it a little bit. So again, y'all both know, we all know, you can go in and you can make this adjusted any way you want to. And it'll keep changing it, and it'll keep changing it until you like it. And I always tell when it creates something I like, I always say, that was great. That was good. Perfect. Great. Give it feedback. Either check because you can, when it's done, you can always give it feedback by the buttons here, or you can tell it, you can type it out and tell it feedback. And again, that goes back to what Christy was saying about it learns you. And starts to know your tone and what you want and what you expect out of it. So it'll evolve to that. Let's do, give me an example of an email that maybe we needed to say it more professionally. Have you had any situations? I'm trying to think. Honestly, I haven't wanted to yell at anybody in email recently, so.
I had that one agent from Franklin that kept trying to send the PICRA to the lender, and I had to tell her to stop doing that. And then she was the listing side, and she kept trying to ask me if I had scheduled the moisture and termite repairs, and if I had scheduled the appraisal required repairs.
I think with the emails, what I've done with it is I've taken kind of like what you said at the onset is like I've taken an email that was like free flow thought, but perhaps not how I needed to state it. And I threw it in at that point.
That is correct. Like
Yeah.
it was, she couldn't, how do I say this nicely? I kept responding to her emails and in a paragraph. However, in the paragraph, she couldn't pick out. She would read the paragraph that I sent her. However, in a paragraph format, she wouldn't be able to pick out what I had said, if that makes sense. So I had to figure out a different way to communicate with her that would make sense. So I needed ChatGPT to put it in a different format. Also, apparently, I needed it to be direct and professional because my frustration level at that point was explosive, to say the least. Because about the fourth time that she sent the PICRA to the lender, to my buyer's lender, was about the time that my entire face started twitching.
Yeah, I can picture that in my head, just you glitching, doing the
Pretty
glitch.
much what had happened. And yeah, she just, and I mean, we were like past closing by like almost 20 days at this point.
Yeah, I
Like-
think that when you get, I think it's much more beneficial, as I guess to use ChatGPT if you want to stay professional. When you're so angry, and I hate to say I use it for anger more than anything else to tone down or make it more
That is correct.
professional. But that is again, being direct. I just want to tell somebody like it is. And sometimes you're so angry you can't
Well,
do it.
well, not only that, but like I had to like spill what I wanted to say into ChatGPT into like a big paragraph, right? Because it was a lot of information all at once. Because she asked me like 15 questions and I answered all of them professionally, but then it was a big paragraph that I sent her, but then she couldn't extract the information out of the paragraph, even though I answered all of her questions. So then I needed ChatGPT to take my paragraph and then break it into like bullet points and reformat it into a different way before I yelled at her.
Yeah. And I mean,
And
that's the best way to do it, you know?
right. I was like, I literally just copy pasted it and was like, please make this professional and broken down into 8th grade reading level. That is literally what I asked it to do. And I think I uploaded.
Came back great. Like it came back with exactly what you needed it to come back
It
with.
came back with exactly what I needed it to do. I also uploaded a photo, like I uploaded a link from Home Depot of a stovetop that my client wanted not installed, but delivered to the house prior to closing that we had negotiated, and she couldn't wrap her brain around it. And
Right.
ChatGPT had to explain to her, just get it there. We just need it there. And the receipt confirming delivery and a photo of it at the house, not installed. And I had to have that on like an 8th grade reading level as well.
I'm sorry. It makes me giggle a little bit, but that is good. I'm glad Chat.
So, but by putting just the hyperlink into ChatGPT, ChatGPT took the hyperlink, made it a hyperlink, and then pulled the photo over from Home Depot and put an actual photo of that stove top with the description and was like, this one right here.
Hmm.
It was like this one.
That's
Please
good.
click
That's
the
kinda
link and
cool.
it will
I mean,
take you
that's,
directly to the one that they want.
yeah, that actually is very good because I mean, you can't be more clear than that. Let me
And,
here.
yeah,
Let
and
me
then
show you
Chat
what you
GPT
want.
was like, broke it down and was like, it will cost this much money with taxes. If you would like it delivery, Home Depot appears to have free delivery. If you order it on this day, it appears that you can have it delivered next day. Like it did all of the research for her.
That's awesome. I mean, I feel like some people probably need to use Chat GPT just to live. Is that me?
I took such a breath by using it because like I had already done all that, but then it did it again and was just like, here, girl, just here, you're done. That's it. You're done. I did it for you. You don't have to retype all of this. At some point I couldn't get any of the thoughts to be outside thoughts.
So yeah. I think I'm gonna hold off. I have to do Canva next month, so I think I'm just gonna show the Canva side of this during that class. Because we are running out of time. It's getting toward the end and I don't want to hold you guys up too much longer, but I think that is great. And I think that if you're not using Chat GPT Chat GPT is the best one. There's a lot of AI software programs now. My opinion is I like the way Chat GPT works. I think it does everything I need it to do. The limitations on the images is probably the only thing, but again, like I said, I've got Canva, and I'll explain that next month.
I think it'll make you an itinerary for showings too. I mean, obviously everybody uses their maps for that,
yeah,
but I think it'll do
I
it.
was trying to think of a few addresses. Okay, can you help me with a showing on, how do you spell itinerary? How do you
I
spell
think
itinerary? Okay,
I think it'll just
I
know
got
what
it.
you're trying to say.
Got it. I have Grammarly on here, which I am actually getting ready to uninstall because I use
I hate it.
GPT more for saying what I need it to say than I do Grammarly anymore. So I got,
Grammarly also gets in the way every time I try and click something. It's
oh
like,
yeah, it
it's,
depends on what I'm in, but yes, a lot of times, usually when it's small, like on Facebook and stuff like that, where
Mhm.
it's smaller.
You may want to put in how long you want each showing to be. Because
Okay.
you have some of those clients that are 15 minutes and you have some of those clients that are 30 minutes,
For these addresses. So let's just do,
Do 1138 Little Bay Avenue.
okay. Is it lane or drive? I don't even. Ugh,
And then pick the office address.
yeah. What was the address for Little Bay again?
1138 Little Bay Ave, Norfolk, Virginia. Don't ask me the zip code.
It's fine. I don't need it. enough for it to pick up. Starting and ending from 960 first. Road, Virginia, and I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time typing because I am freezing and I forgot my sweater. I'm literally shivering right now. Beach. Allow 30 minutes showing time at each. Let's see what it does. Okay, cool. So it's got the stops. And then I didn't really say what time, but it's funny that it came up with the time. So sample itinerary, start 9 a.m., depart from First Colonial, stop 1, Culver Lane, 9:20 to 9:50, showing, drive approximately 30 minutes to the next stop, 10:20 arrival, 30 minutes for showing, drive 30 minutes back to the office. We'll get back at 11:20 a.m. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I mean, at least then you can have a typed itinerary for your,
I'm actually going to start doing this and compare it to the app that I use
yeah.
for routing and everything. I have like, I use like a delivery driver app that I usually use for planning my day. And I'm going to
I
compare
use
it to that. And just,
Google Maps because you can add so many of them.
I can add, I forgot what the name of it is, Straightaway or something like that. And I can add like up to 15, which is more than in one day. Like I'm
Well, for
I
showings, I just use the MLS directions. I just check mark each one and I just put it into the directions and then I like order it through the MLS.
yeah. I just prefer this. I don't know. I've just always used this
I
app.
just plug them all into like Google Maps
I've
on the
tried.
computer as I'm doing it. And then like,
Yeah.
cause you can put like 10 or 15 of them in there.
Yeah, I've tried Google. I actually tried Google Maps. I've tried using Apple to do it. I've tried a lot of different ones. I've tried the MLSs.
But then you have to do math when you do the Google Maps, you know, like for your
Right.
showing times.
That's why I go back to my app because I'm lazy. So my app, I can add all the addresses in and then I can tell it to sort it. And I can even adjust how long I want to be at each location. I think I have I have it set right now defaulted to 20 minutes per, just kind of give me an idea of my day. But usually I'm showing like, I don't know, 5 in an afternoon, just taking somebody out. It's like 5 at the most. So, but yeah, so I'm going to compare this to that and see how accurate it is. My question is, does it factor in live traffic updates?
I don't know.
I don't know if it does because Chat GPT is behind with a lot of data and information. They're like a couple years behind. So that's why, again, you have to read stuff for accuracy because it is.
Well, and again,
that
like
it's
these are
scrubbing from the
approximate
internet.
times. Like even when we set up our showings, like we're going off of approximate times
Yeah,
because we're doing them the day ahead of time.
We are. I'm just curious, just for knowledge, like how far because Chat GPT just had some big updates recently. I want to know how far those updates went, That's just
Fair.
me. That's for my curiosity. But anyway, all right. Well, it is 11 almost. It's 10:59. So this was good. Thank you guys for joining and helping and coming up with ideas and playing.
I think that would be a fun one though, to like print that out and like hand it to your client.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause
Like
it-
this is the plan. This is where we're going today
Yeah. Yeah, I think
at the beginning. Like these are our stops. Like this is when you can get gas and this is when you can't.
Yep. I think that's great. Definitely going to use that a little bit more. I haven't really done any itineraries in there, and I'm proud of myself for spelling that. All right. Anywho, all right. Well, thank you, ladies, and I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, guys.